Jey Uso, main event Jey Uso, the next big megastar in WWE. If he heeds advice from his cousin or his brother, the tribal chief Roman Reigns, we could be seeing Raw's next biggest superstar. That coming up on this episode of Break It Down with Brian H.
No, baby, that's for somebody else. We're just going to keep you right where you're at right now.
It doesn't matter what you think.
The Wrestling Realm presents Break It Down with Brian H.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of Break It Down with Brian H. I'm your host, Brian H. Waters. This show, of course, is brought to you by the Wrestling Realm. Now, folks, let me just get this out of the way. Y'all know what to do. Make sure, if you want to save money on your purchases, go to SeatGeek.com, use the promo code Wrestling Realm, and you will save $20 or more. We have football season starting, whether it's college or NFL. We have baseball getting into the thick of things in a pennant race, and WNBA playoffs are on their way as well. So that also counts for concerts as well. But folks, last week, or I should say this week, this most recent episode of Championship Culture, they talked about one-hit wonders. And those one-hit wonders are people who only wore the championship one time. When you think about people like Kane for the WWE Championship, Jinder Mahal, Sable, and other people who just held the title only one time. That's what they discuss. So now we think about main event Jey Uso. Jey Uso recently won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, and we was on for a ride. We was in for a ride. It was so much fun. If you watch WWE Unreal, and I advise you to, and then afterwards, I advise you to check out the very first episode of Realness Reacts, brought to you by the real Dwayne Allen, who did an incredible breakdown on why that show is important, what we liked about it, what wrestling fans didn't like about it, and what we're learning, and so much more. But we learned that they knew Jey Uso was over. Now, I was thinking about this the other day, and I said, at that time, everybody was making their picks, and one of my picks was CM Punk to win the Royal Rumble. But it was one of the most loaded Royal Rumbles, and afterwards, you may remember when I got back to Baltimore, I talked about how Jey Uso won one of the biggest Royal Rumbles ever. You don't just give that Royal Rumble win to anybody. Then you think about the capacity. He wins the championship to kick off WrestleMania 41. So now, he lost the championship on Raw, but he's still in contention. And it was something that Roman Reigns said on Monday when Jey was working with CM Punk and LA Knight, because there's this story for the match this Sunday at Clash in Paris where Seth Rollins is the bad guy and the good guys need to take him out. And Roman quickly reminded him, you want to be one of the boys or you want to be your own man? Now, Roman has gone on record and said that mindset shift is what led to him becoming the tribal chief. Sure, he could have been there, been in the locker room, but even though he's a locker room leader, he wants to be the guy. And part of being the guy, he got to stand out. So to see him pass that message on to Jey Uso, it goes to show you these next 6 to 12 months are important. What kind of Jey Uso will we see? Here's a guy who is one half of one of the greatest tag teams in the history of professional wrestling. My favorite tag team overall. And he has found a way to individualize himself from his twin brother in Jimmy Uso. So being able to individualize yourself, go out there, become main event Jey Uso, have a long-lasting effect on the crowd. And one thing he can do is crowd control. When he raises his arms up and down, the crowd is going with him. Now, some people may not be in sync, but that's crowd control. Not a lot of superstars had that. It's one thing, yeah, you can get out there and you can get the crowd cheering for you. But that crowd control, to run it back, Jey Uso is a star. Jey Uso is a star. Now, if you would have said this in 2020 when he was going against Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal Championship in their story of Night of Champions and their story at Hell in a Cell, yeah, it felt personal. And it was calling him main event Jey Uso. Shout out to Corey Graves. But I don't think nobody saw this. Once him and Jimmy got back, they got in line. They became the tag team champions. But because of that story, we were able to separate the two twins. For the longest time, it's like, can you tell the difference between Jimmy and Jey? Not all the time. Now, you can't not tell the difference. And really, if you don't know the name, it's just because you just don't know the difference of their names. Like, I got to say the twin cousins I talk about all the time. Their names Christopher and Christian. And when we was younger, now one's light skin, one's dark skin. And for the longest time, my sister would get them mixed up. She knew the difference between them. It was the name. She would call Christian Christopher and vice versa. Say the dark skin one is Christian, when the dark skin is Christopher. But you knew the difference. And that's the same thing with Jimmy and Jey. You know the difference now. Granted, the haircut, the hairstyles are different, but Total Divas help. But let's be real, during those Total Diva days, when they got in the ring, sometimes it's like, oh yeah, which one is which? And Roman said that. That was the thing. Which one are you? Now, fast forward, Roman is teaching his cousin. Go out there and become the man. So I don't think Jey Uso's going to win the championship. But I do think he's going to stay on this projected stardom. I kind of thought Jey Uso was going to take a break after losing the World Heavyweight Championship back to Gunther. Instead, he's still in the grind. I was at Raw in Brooklyn right after SummerSlam. And shout out to Netflix. I was invited to be in the suites. Jey Uso came through. I took a selfie with him. But I saw there was people, and this isn't a flex, but this is the point of the conversation. I saw that people was disappointed that Jey didn't make an appearance on Raw. And I'm like, wow, this guy's really made it. Like, people want to see. They are paying money to see Jey Uso. So months ago, right here on the Wrestling Now podcast, I made a statement that Jey Uso has surpassed Yokozuna in the Samoan Mount Rushmore. Now, that's considering we can only have 4 people, right? So, you look at just what they're doing, you got to throw Jey Uso on there. You look at him being a world heavyweight champion, him being on the Minute Maid box. Jey Uso's a star. I mean, they only put him and Bianca and Cody. That right there should tell you something. So when I think about the next megastar in WWE, you have Roman Reigns, you have Seth Rollins, you have CM Punk, you have Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley. The next big megastar, walk down the street and everyone will know who he is Jey Uso. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Yeet!